morning. I appreciate your time. Again, my name is Tim Engler. I'm president of Lebanon County Bar Association. The Bar Association over the years has had a consistent request from the membership for some sort of ID card that would facilitate our entry into the building. There are a number of our members who conduct business in the building multiple times during any given week. Some of our members clearly already have passes because they're either full-time or part-time employees of the county. I myself was in that situation for a while when I was with the DA's office part-time. I had a pass. I could come and go at will. As soon as I was no longer with the DA's office, I stand in line and go through the normal security procedures. We have a number of reasons we have requested that over the year, but our intent today in coming before you was to see if there were any specific objections that you had that perhaps we could address, and more importantly, how we could move this issue forward. We have spoken with the president, judge, and all the judges, and I believe Judge Klein is here today. They are supporting this request from the Bar Association. We have approached the sheriff. It's my understanding he's not available today, but again, he does not oppose this request. We were approaching him as far as any particular security issues he may have with our membership. Just to give a little more clarity on what we're requesting, we would like to have a photo ID that the members would pay for. We would facilitate in a way that would meet whatever specifications you would have to get a photo ID, a laminated ID that, again, that our membership would pay for. There would be no cost to the county for that. It would be limited to members in good standing of the Lebanon County Bar Association. We, of course, take an oath to uphold the laws of this country and of this Commonwealth. We likewise take an oath when we become members of the Lebanon County Bar Association to, again, uphold the laws and the rules of not only the Commonwealth but of this county. So just in summary, our intent today is to give you the opportunity to voice your concerns with our request, if there's anything we can do to address those concerns, and what we can do to move this issue forward.
If I could just clarify too, we're not asking for a pass that some of us have that allow us to enter the building beforehand or stay after. We are just asking to be able to come in during normal business hours and basically bypass security, and I think reasons are evident as to why we would like to do that.
Okay. Anyone else? Commissioners?
I feel humbled sitting before all these attorneys. I got to tell you, it's a little intimidating. But when this was set up, there was Homeland Security was a really big issue. And so our intent was to set examples and to let the public know that they should feel safe coming into our courthouse, because it theoretically could be a target because it's a public building. To this day, there are rare exceptions that I don't go through those scanners myself. Every morning when I come in, I go through them, and there's purpose to that. I want to see how the public is treating our employees. I want to see how the employees are treating the public. I want to see if the machines are working. I want to see that the security is in place that we intended it to be. I don't consider it a burden, but a privilege to go through those scanners. And I have never wavered from making an exception to that for outside of employees of this courthouse or our affiliates. To expand the risk, even though your attorneys, I understand that. To expand the risk that people can go around just doesn't seem fair to the average person. Either you're an employee of the courthouse, or the county, I should say, not the courthouse, an employee of the county, or you're not. It's that simple. That's how I feel, and I don't mean to be disrespectful, but I don't feel I can waver from that stance.
If
Yes.
I may, there are people that are not county employees that have passes. The judges, for example, are not county employees. They're state employees, as well as court administration. So it is being done. There are already exceptions being carved out.
I hear you, and I do respect that. They have been part of our process in that they work here all day, every day, and that is the exception there. And there are exceptions to every rule, but I don't think we should keep expanding it. We set our policy in the beginning, and I think we should stick to that. That's just me. I don't know how they feel, but that's how I feel. I mean, everyone here, I'm sure, is a fine, upstanding citizen, but there are exceptions. I mean, there are times when, if you look in the news, when attorneys too have come in, sometimes accidentally, but might have had a gun in their briefcase or whatever, or maybe somebody could drop something into a bag that you're carrying, you know, a pocketbook or something like that. So you might not even be aware, just like when you go to the airport, you know, they scan everybody. And they especially are afraid if you stop to chat and set your bags down that somebody drops something in. There's all kinds of reasons. It might not be something that you're aware of that could happen because you're coming in and out. You're not coming in once and staying necessarily. And, you know, I've never seen excessively long lines here at our courthouse. They're relatively fast. I mean, if we had, you know, tons and tons of lines, but there's not. I mean, anybody who is leaving and coming in on a regular schedule, I mean, you have to be there ahead of time, obviously, because once in a while there's a line, but I've not seen any really long lines.
Judge
With
Klein?
all due respect, Commissioner Litz, on behalf of the bench, you're incorrect. It has had an incremental effect on our ability to run a court system. When on call of the list day, which is a long day, have you been here on that day?
I've been here every day.
But have you been here for call of the list, where the lines are very, very long, and we need a lot of lawyers in here to get it going, and they are here early and are still held up? Number two, every employee in this building, and I am not an employee, as you know, I'm a state employee, but I appreciate what
You work in the
commissioners have
building,
done.
you work in the
I work
building just like the other state employees and the city
Absolutely.
employees. There's no difference in that.
They are not required to go through the screening. Your theory would be right if all of us in this room who work here had to go through it every day. But we know we don't. We have a privilege, which is this badge. And we should not, or must not, violate that privilege. But your argument about carving an exception, we know the finite number of members of the Lebanon County Bar. Our president can certify that to you on a yearly basis with photo ID, can assure it. I can assure you that it has had an effect on our ability to run the court, because many a time, on criminal call of list, on other days, we have had lawyers say, "Judge, I'm sorry I was here early, but I was held up in the line." So the argument that that doesn't affect it is not square with the facts. It doesn't happen often, I agree with that, but it's happened enough. I can tell you on behalf of President Judge Tulloch, we've talked, and I know that you've talked, and I know your concerns, and they're legitimate. But if your argument is we're carving out an exception, yes, but it's not without a reason. And the reason is the lawyers in this bar of Lebanon County give a lot of service to the commissioners and our courts that is not compensated, and could, if push came to shove, be required to be compensated. It's not a threat, that's an observation. They do a lot. They are here a lot. Many are here, even though they're not an employee.
I hope that arguing with the judge doesn't get me in trouble. Well, I really think, and I say this with all due respect, if you're late, it's because you didn't leave early enough. You got to get here early enough to get in line first. And number two, I really think that apples and oranges were being mixed in talking about the work once you're here, because once you're in, you're in. All the work that's done is greatly appreciated, but that doesn't have anything to do with coming in the door, does it?
Yes, it does.
The judge, it's been spoken of as the sheriff's office, and the judges people support. I informally did, about a month and a half ago, I went around and spoke with various people at the security locations, both in the morning and in the afternoon, when I happened to be over here twice in one day. And the comments that I picked up from the personnel is they thought it would be a good idea because it cuts down on the backlog of individuals. Secondly,
To read the paper.
the fact that, you know, yourselves as commissioners, as individuals, you know, there's 3 of you, but I would venture to say that in any given day, there may be 25 to 30 attorneys here. At any one given time, there might be 7 or 8 of us in line. And thirdly, in all due respect, the building is called the courthouse. We are, in all due respect, when it comes to the purpose of the courts and the judiciary, we are the soldiers in a sense as to what gets conducted here in business. And I would respectfully propose that perhaps it's a privilege we're asking for, but I would also suggest that in most cases we've earned the privilege.
You know, respectfully, that's, the whole thing is that this is a system of checks and balances. And you brought up the fact that this is a courthouse and your attorney's working for the courts. That's fabulous. But we're the administrative end, the legislative end, and our duty is to be the checks and balances. And the checks and balances, in my mind, in this case, is the fact that we have a system in place, it's working, and it's fair, and there's no need to change it. Because you guys are going to endure an awful lot of wrath from the public if we...
Thank you for allowing us to be here today. I'm looking around to see these attorneys that are here today. I don't see one arrogant person here that thinks they're better than any public Joe coming into this courthouse. I have to disagree with you too, Commissioner Litz, about the public being outraged if we got ID cards to allow us to come in. Every time I come in, and I come into this courthouse 3-4 times a day sometimes, I could be coming here at 9 o'clock in the morning, leave, come back at 11 o'clock, Punch is still sitting there, and I'm wanded again because something is setting off the, he knows me, and my clients will say, I can't believe you have to go through that. So I would have to disagree with you about the general public being outraged about lawyers getting, special privileges, if you will. I think, again, looking around, we're not doing this because we think we're special or we're above anybody else here. It's just that it is a time, as Judge Klein so eloquently put it, it is a time constraint. We do get here on time. My office is less than a block away. I'm always here well before my scheduled appointments, and I'm standing in line watching people being wanded and thinking, oh my gosh, I was just here an hour ago. I have the same clothes on, I have the same file, so I would have to disagree with you on that.
Let me ask you this.
Say that I support everything that's been said by everyone else here this morning. I'm also
Not everyone else.
everybody else
On that side.
among the attorneys and
Okay.
Judge Klein.
Okay.
But I'm puzzled by Commissioner Litz's concern that an attorney could unknowingly have something in their briefcase or something in their pocket that somebody else put in there, because the very same thing could happen with every county employee, and so you could have the same problem with them. And I'm also I was surprised to hear you say, Commissioner Litz, that you go through the security every day yourself, and that's admirable from the point of view of trying to see how the county employees treat people. But if that's your concern, to increase the sensitivity of county employees to the public, then I think every county employee ought to have to go through it also. And then you'd really have good sensitivity.
Well, I guess I do it for many reasons, and I don't think that it's necessary to justify why I go through. I think it's a good thing I go through no matter what. But I do have a question, and it goes back to Mary. Did I hear you say you come in with your clients?
Yes.
And so that's not unusual? That's not unusual for attorneys to come in with their clients?
Well, they either meet them here or they come with them.
You don't?
I meet my clients here. Meet you at the third floor
I wouldn't
elevator.
say every time I come in with my clients, but there are times that I do come in with my clients or I'm meeting them here.
Well, I guess that goes back to my point about somebody could put something in your pocket or your pocketbook. some of the people you represent are innocent, some aren't, and there are some criminals out there, and they might have reason to hurt officers of the court or the judges, and if they want to get something in, they would come through without, and you could be their scapegoat.
Commissioner Litz, I would concur with Ms.